Hello everybody and welcome to Minecraft Showcase. I'm GuruGodX. A little bit of background right here. This is my base on the survival multiplayer server that I've been doing with my brother. As you can see, that's my dad. Sorry, I just had dinner and it's still kind of in my throat a little bit. Anyway, this tutorial, sort of tutorial slash showcase slash I don't even know what to call it. It's how to make iridium in industrial craft. Oh god, it's an experimental snapshot. I don't remember what snapshot it is. I didn't put the mod pack together, my brother did. So this is 1.6.4 Minecraft. 1.6.4. And I have industrial craft 2. I have ender storage, iron chest, which that is obviously an obsidian chest, but it's part of the mod iron chest. Extra biomes XL, because I love that rainbow eucalyptus. You can feel the rainbow in it. Oh. Also, this is Putin's party cave, where we only disco. Yeah, it's college humor for you. But no, this is what happened here is we have ICBM, and what I did was I found a cave, kind of like a mountainous area, and I put an antimatter bomb, at like 50 or 55 or something, and it made this perfectly spherical hole, except for right up there. Right up there was kind of not open. It was completely open, so I used some dirt to cover it back up, make it look natural. But I'm completely underground right now. It goes straight down to bedrock, and I destroyed a little bedrock, but I replaced the bedrock back in survival mode. But everything after this whole thing, because it's completely unorganized and whatnot, was done in survival mode. Excuse me, fuck. Anyway, this is how you make iridium ore. Basically, what you need to do is you need to have found a piece of iridium ore out in a dungeon, or what have you, out in the world of Minecraft. So, go find an iridium ore. You got that? Okay, you got one. Okay. That was quick, by the way. Then, you build this thing called a scanner. You also build a pattern storage. And what you do is you put that one piece of iridium ore that you worked so hard to go find in a dungeon, and you sacrifice it to the scanner gods. And the scanner will scan it, and it will put out a scan result. And you can save the scan result into the pattern storage. Pattern storage, name iridium ore, blah, 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 blah. It's like 1 million EU to make one, and 22,000 millibuckets, or 22 buckets. Worth of UU matter. And over here we have your replicator. I heard you, spider. Where are you? That's like the hazards of living in a cave. I hear you. Anyway, you have your replicator, which will load up the pattern storage. Oh, there's the spider. Silly little thing. Anyway, thought I heard a creeper. It sounded like a creeper. Anyway, you have pattern storage, or your replicator here, which you can do single run, you can do repeat run of the same whatever. It holds 16,000 millibuckets, and you can have more UU matter cells. Well, now here's the question: how do you get UU matter? Because that seems to be the main component. Well, the main component other than pure EU. Look, Austin joined the game. So, well, basically, it is. I have built this thing called a reactor coil. Alright? Because you get the UU matter from a mass fabricator. Mass fabricator takes up to 512 EU. Damn it. Takes up to 512 EU. And it will produce UU matter. It also takes scrap. A little background on scrap. Scrap enhances the ability to produce UU matter by, I think it's like 1,000%. Because I did the calculations, and it took 10 million EU raw to make a pure bucket of UU matter without any scrap. But it only took 3 million EU with it was like 78 scrap. So it's like it increases efficiency by a lot, and it uses a lot less power per bucket of EU, or yeah, per bucket per EU of UU matter. And basically, how you get scrap is you say you don't want gravel or dirt, or a myriad of other things. Well, you come over here to your little recycler, and you have plugged into some power, and it will start compressing stuff, and random chance will propose that you get a piece of scrap. Maybe sometime today. It'll happen. It'll show up for just a second. Come on. You did this immediately earlier. Come on. I was like, kind of like, preparing myself for this. Oh, come on. Yeah, it'll pull out a piece of scrap. Eventually. I mean, come on. Really, you've gone through like almost 20 and no scrap? Oh, there we go. Pull out a piece of scrap. There you go. And I have Buildcraft 2 pipes. This mod pack has like Ender Storage, has Buildcraft 2, has Iron Chest, it has Traincraft, Railcraft, all of those kinds of mods, bunch of other types of mods. Has Gravitation Suite, something like that. This scrap will come over here to this obsidian chest. Yay! This obsidian chest has scrap in it. I have more over here. See all this scrap? Yeah, that's what you get. Because I have this ender chest over here from Ender Storage that's connected to a recycler farm, and that's connected to my quarry. So basically all the useless cobblestone, dirt, sand, whatever, is connected to a bunch of, split up between a bunch of recyclers. I think I have like 10 out there, and then turned into scrap, and then funneled into this ender chest, which then puts it into this obsidian chest. Now, that's your basic review on how to get scrap. So that's scrap right there. But how, might you ask, do you get the absolutely massive amount of EU required to power a mass fabricator, and how do you do that autonomously? Well, we go over here to my nuclear reactor, my little reactor. Kind of like My Little Pony, only it's a reactor. I'm going to recharge my boots because it drains an absolute crap ton of power, and it's going to help demonstrate because I don't need this. I need this to not be full, because when it's full, it sends out a redstone signal, so you emit if full, and that will stop the whole reactor from working because of the way I have the redstone circuit set up, which is sort of ingenious, I guess. So we'll fill up all my stuff and drain an absolute crap ton of power, like something like almost 2 million power because nanotech. This, by the way, was a pain in the ass to make, but it has a built-in jetpack, just like the quantum suit, but it does not take as much as the quantum suit to make. But yeah, okay. So basically, what you have here is you have your reactor. This reactor is self-replicating. It produces 460 EU per tick on a circuit that lasts 90 seconds. It produces that EU per tick for 22.5 seconds and is off for 67.5 seconds for a total of 90 seconds. And the reason why this is significant is because, as you can see, while it's on, look at that, it's just destroying these things. But over the next 67.5 seconds, as you can see right here, they are recharging. So it is self-replicating or self-repairing, self-cooling. It's a venting reactor. That's what I'll call it. I'll call it a venting reactor, where it vents off all of the excess heat and is completely safe, 100% safe. I fucking hear you, spider. And it produces 460 EU per tick, and every time it rotates, it produces about 300,000 EU over that 22.5 seconds. So I think it's like 2,500, something like that. 250,000. A pretty good chunk of EU. The only thing that needs to be changed out of it is the uranium fuel rods. And the uranium fuel rods, they will last, if you left this reactor on consistently, and if you were like tossing in more heat exchangers as they were burning out, tossing in more heat fans as they were burning out, if you were to leave this on constantly, these dual fuel rods would last for 6 hours on their own. But because of the loop that we have here, it will only last it will last 22 hours, but it's not running constantly, not consistently. What the fuck? What I have here is a kind of a feeder loop, as I want to call it, because this has a tendency to still produce power even though this is full. I have it set up to where if this is on, it pumps this will passively produce a redstone signal always. Unless there is a redstone signal running in, so it's stopping that. So that's why these three, because each of these count as 22.5 seconds, so it cancels it out for the total of 67.5 seconds. Yeah, that's right. 67.5 seconds. Cancels it out for 67.5 seconds, but then it's off, or it points out to nothing. That means this is off, that means this is on for 22.5 seconds, and then it's off for another 67.5. Something like that. Yeah, it's exactly that. I'm insane. Shut up. But whenever this or that switch is pulled on, it will, or when this is full, it will send a redstone signal and stop this from turning on the reactor. Alright? So that's how the reactor works. It's on a 90-second loop. That's kind of the key number here. So I decided to make because of the biggest flaw of this reactor is non-consistent power. Like, if you just have one of them, it's not going to be a consistent 460 EU per tick. But it is autonomous. You don't have to continuously sit there and throw coal, throw whatever into it, fuel, whatever. It's there for 22 hours. All you have to do is throw more fucking fuel rods in there. So, okay, with that aside, we have what I call right here a vent reactor coil. This is what I'll start calling it because they're vent reactors. These don't have any uranium in them because I don't want them on right now. And under here, whoa! What are you doing underneath there? Douchebag. And here we have a sequencer that's set to 90 seconds already, as you can see, and it's sending a redstone signal out to under each of these reactors. Beautiful, right? It will activate each reactor for 22.5 seconds, and then we'll move on to the next reactor for 22.5 seconds, while putting the other reactor, the first one, on cooldown for 67.5 seconds. So that's the math. That's the fucking math. Basically what will happen is it will constantly send, it's a constant 460 EU per tick, because one of the 4 reactors will be on at any given one time. So it will send out 460 EU per tick down this little line here, and it will up into the mass fabricator. And this little contraption here I have for the redstone thing, this is a timer set at 1200 milliseconds, so 1.2 seconds, sending into a redstone repeater that's set at 4 ticks, and 3 redstone engines that will do a couple pumps and pull out a piece of scrap every about 2-ish seconds. And the reason why this is significant is it'll automatically feed scrap into the mass fabricator, which is important. You want to have scrap in your mass fabricator at all times. It significantly reduces the amount of both EU required and time it takes to produce 1 bucket of UU matter. Now, the reason why I am kind of chipper and excited is because I have not tested this. This is the first time I've done a vent reactor coil on anything, actually. I've done the reactors before single or even double, but I've never done a coil of 4 quad reactors, and I have never done it to be constantly used like this. And it took a lot of resources. Like, I have to make a reactor for my brother on the survival multiplayer server because he really wants one. So I'll go through a tutorial on how to make your very own reactor at another time. But basically, the base components for these advanced heat exchangers and overclocked heat vents, which by the way, there's 22 of each in here. So there's 22 heat exchangers, there's 22 overclocked heat vents. There's 22 of each. So it means there's 88 of each in total. And I could go on for days. The material list required. I will give you a hint. It took, I think, 5 or 6 down to bedrock quarries that are 25 by 25 blocks, from 60 down to bedrock, just to be able to supply enough materials for this. And I still had to go hunting for lapis lazuli, because lapis lazuli plates are a required ingredient for the advanced heat exchangers, and you need 4 of them per advanced heat exchanger, so 88 per. 88 times 4 is like a number. 160, 116, so like 172, 1,720. Yeah, you need something like that. You need a very large amount of. No, yeah, 172. Yeah, I'm not insane. Shut up. You need a large amount of supplies to even consider doing this. You need to have your base set up. You need to have a temporary source of power. Like my original source of power over here was this watermill setup, which was this watermills. Watermills. I think it's like 3 watermills on 4 legs that it's artificially made to provide power to the Sisu. And the Sisu pumps, because originally I just had the materials for Sisu, and then I used to have my little base thing right over here, but then I moved everything over here because I wanted to be away from my little starting area. So I made a IC2 platform, I guess you could say, and I fed that. Sisu is powering both my recycler thing right there, my single recycler, and I have that wire is headed to this MFE right here. So it's pumping a little bit. It's pumping its meager power over here. And then whenever I got enough materials to make 1 reactor, that's when I really started pushing for the reactor. So yeah, so that's how the reactor works. And lag. I am going to turn the coil on. And yeah, as I've said before, this is the first time ever doing this. I need exactly, how many do I need? I need 10 per, so it's like 40. So yeah, something like that. Now, if you'll notice one thing about this current reactor coil, is I haven't devised a system, nor is there currently a way to stop the sequencer from sending a redstone signal to all of the different reactors, unless I actually interrupt the signal manually or remove the sequencer, like I do over here with the NOR gate. I haven't really given it much thought, and I don't even know how I'm going to do it other than extending this wire down in here. This wire, well, I can't jump up. You see up there, there's a switch, and it's connected around the back to all of these, and that single switch uses these EU splitter cables as well as this one, and it halts all EU transference between reactor to MFE and MFE to that, so that no EU moves fucking anywhere until that switch is on. It also stops this contraption, which is a contraption. So once I turn everything on, that turns on. If I want that off, I turn everything off. I may. Okay. So basically, yeah, everything's reconnected and like that. It's kind of cool. And so, I am going to put fuel in, and I'm going to turn on the switch. Yeah, so it's only 10 fuel rods per reactor, so not too bad. In terms of uranium, like as you could see, I had like a bunch of fuel rods left over. All right, that one's on, and as you can see, it built up 460. But the EU is not going anywhere until I put my jetpack back on, because apparently that's the only way to get up there. And please don't explode. My friend described this as Chernobyl-esque. And he also described it as Chernobyl was a good idea until it was a bad idea. So, that's my, so this is working. So yeah, puts it out. Just enough redstone signal to just barely push it out. And, it's transferring energy, and it's going into the mass fabricator, which is already at 20%. It consumes scrap quite quickly. Well, okay, it's not too fast. Yeah, it could consume scrap much quicker if it so wanted to. But soon we'll have. So yeah, it seems to be functioning quite remarkably, in fact. And yeah, it's still transferring energy. I think this reactor's on. No, wait, no, this reactor's on now. No. Which reactor is? Oh, this one. This reactor's on again, and now it's off, and now this reactor's on again. So yeah, that's how we do. That's how it goes. And the first bit of scrap on the scrap train is about to be added, amplified, and yeah, it's gonna put in scrap at a decent rate. Not 100% scrapified, but it doesn't need to be. Scrap just needs to be added periodically. I'm not looking for complete perfection, you know. But I could add, like, the rest of this, some of this chest, fill up that chest back up with scrap. I had it emptied because halfway through making one of my reactors, I realized that this was going to fill up because of the way I redid my quarries, because I originally had them hooked up to forestry electrical engines, and I wasn't really too keen about the forestry electrical engines because they were taking a shit ton of EU, but they weren't really taking up that much, they weren't really putting out that much MJ. It's like 2 MJ per tick. Well, then I switched to just 2 combustion engines and used those electrical engines on a refinery and ender tanking over the fuel that the refinery is fueling over. And yeah, that those combustion engines are extremely efficient as long as you don't put them out in a desert where they can overheat. And they put out 12 EU per tick, so I started to have so much scrap that I couldn't handle it. And hell, it got to the point where I had to extend my recycler loop, so that way I could actually handle, I had to extend the recycler loop so I could actually handle the amount of incoming scrap, or things to be scrapped. So yeah. There we go. It is full. And I still have almost half a chest left of scrap, so yeah. And it's pumping. It's pumping scrap right in there. Oops. And yeah, it's gonna produce the first bucket soon. So yeah, it's it works. So yeah, this has been a minor tutorial. I guess. This reactor coil is completely autonomous. It does this on its own, I guess you'd say. It produces power. It will last for 22 hours of continuous on use. With continuous on use with the sequencer, you know, the 90-second circuit loop. A word of caution, or not caution, a word of just letting you guys know. I have done reactors that are that circuit loop less than 90 seconds. I just feel that 90 seconds is the safest, roundest number for this particular. I'm not saying that you can't go down to like 88 seconds or 85, or even pushing your luck, you could do 80 if you really, you know, watched these 2 advanced heat exchangers every few or so hours. You could do an 80-second loop, so 20 seconds and then 20 seconds on and 60 seconds off. But I like 90 seconds. It feels very round, and it works. it's exactly a minute and a half, so this circuit goes around once in a minute and a half. And yeah, it's supplying power to this MFE, which is going up here to this mass fabricator. This mass fabricator is gonna produce a UU matter, and it's been like what 3 minutes of me talking? Wow, it's been like, okay, 25 minutes since I started this thing. It's kind of been a long-ish tutorial, but I feel like I need to explain things in detail, otherwise people are just going to ask questions over and over again about asking the same things over and over again. But yeah, that is my vent reactor loop circuit, whatever you want to call this, chain. And yeah, it works. Like I was pretty sure it was gonna work. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, well, if I just did that 4 times and put it on one circuit and just had an off switch for everything, it should work. But it's kind of satisfying to know, oh yeah, it already made 1 bucket or 1,000 millibuckets of UU matter. And this is like this is an 80,000 millibucket or 80 bucket tank. So yeah, when this thing produces 80 buckets, I'll be able to yeah. So yeah, this is automated UU matter with and a kind of a semi-guide to how the vent reactor works. I will do another guide later to show how to make all the components for each advanced heat exchanger, or not each. How to make what to do to make your very own vent reactor, the mats for the heat exchangers, and the overclocked heat vents, as well as the required materials for the dual fuel rod in uranium. And yeah, it's a very, very beautiful thing to see a creation you made in Minecraft, especially in Industrial Craft, to just end up being... Where the fuck is this zombie? Just like... I don't even know where he is. He's nearby. But yeah, it's really gratifying to know that a creation you spend... I've spent like a week on this. Hell, 2 weeks on this. Playing Minecraft in my off time, doing other videos and stuff like that, but I spent like 2 weeks on this. And it's a very beautiful thing to see such a very complex and overall time-consuming project come to fruition, and to see it work so flawlessly is kind of an ego boost, I guess you could say. So yeah, I have no idea if these things will actually start going faster over prolonged periods of time. I haven't like let it sit here, but I assume because it's just turning on and off and on and off, it's resetting them, but turning them on just enough to produce just enough MJ to be able to pull out one item, which is perfect for these purposes. So yeah, this is my loop vent reactor loop, and I've been GurgoX. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope the guide was at least intuitive enough for you to follow, and hopefully was unique enough for you to enjoy. If you did like the video, please like, favorite, subscribe, those other social media mumbo jumbo things, and a little symmetry up in here. And thank you. I've been GurgoX, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.